You're listening to the Bear in Mind podcast, episode number 67.
A podcast uncovering identity, color, and love, where driving yourself crazy is totally sane and curable. Now your host, T. Bias.
So if you've got something that you want in your life, a goal that you're trying to achieve, I'm guessing that one of the things that you might have said to yourself along the way is, this is going to be hard, especially in the beginning, or this is going to be complicated and this is not going to be fun. And, you know, for example, if you're thinking about losing weight, you're like, this is going to suck to exercise and be on a diet. And we often think this about our goals, and it kind of can stop us from moving forward and kind of making that traction that then actually makes it easier to get to the end result that we want. So today I'm actually going to talk about why a goal really feels like it's going to be hard and how actually not to have it be hard to get there. Now, if you have a goal and you have a goal that kind of feels out of reach, because if you have a goal that you totally know that you're going to get, then it's not going to feel hard to you. But if you have a goal that seems kind of out of reach, you know, to make a certain amount of money, to lose a certain amount of weight, to have better connection with your friends and family, whatever that goal is that feels kind of out of reach, it's totally natural and normal that it's going to feel hard in the beginning. And your brain is going to offer you all of those reasons of, yes, this is not going to be fun. This is going to be complicated. This is going to take too much time. Some of those things that come up. And it actually usually sometimes prevents us from even taking that first step to accomplishing the very thing that we really want. And this happens because our brain loves only three things. It wants everything to be easy. That's why it's easier to lay on the couch and watch TV. So it's really seeking for things. It doesn't want things to be hard in our life because our brain is there for our survival. So yes, if something's easy, it means, yeah, keep doing this. Don't put yourself at risk. And when we think it's going to suck, like maybe going on a food protocol, a diet to lose weight, we think it's going to be kind of painful. And for our survival, pain is not good. If it's going to cause us any sort of even emotional pain, it thinks, yeah, this is not really a good thing to do. So, of course, that's going to come up. And that's what's evolutionarily what we're given. And it naturally comes up for most of us that, yeah, this is going to suck. And we kind of look at it. We kind of see the journey ahead of us. And we're like, yeah, this is really not going to be this kind of smooth ride. And so with that, the opposite of that, it's not going to be pleasurable. It's not going to be fun all the way to the end. And so then you're kind of in this, okay, it's going to be hard, not fun, and possibly painful. And so your brain's like, that is not the kind of risk we want to take, even though there is no real harm or imminent danger that's happening. You know, there's not a snake outside or there's not a predator. Back when we were kind of in the hunter and gathering stages, even though you can know that, your brain is still operating in that kind of world of hunter and gathering. But here's the even better news, is that your brain really wants that thing at the end. It really wants you to lose weight, really wants you to make more money, it really wants you to have better connection, because that end result is actually important also to our survival. We want to be healthier. We want to be wealthier. You know, we can create contribution and give money to people and help people. And we want to have connection and community in our life. Those are all part of what has kept humans alive for this long. And so the trick is to kind of override that kind of those first offerings that your brain gives to you. It's going to be hard. It's going to be complicated. It's going to be painful. It's not going to be fun. It's going to suck. When you can kind of see that that's how it's going to go, especially in the beginning of your journey, you can kind of get over that, what I call the initial hump, that initial, what, you know, your brain is going to tell you, stay at home, don't take any risks, don't put yourself out there. And the best way to handle it is to know that that's what's happening. That it's just, it's an efficient way your brain is working. It's working kind of in an old-fashioned kind of, if you want to say, hunter-gathering time. And you can kind of be like, well, of course you're going to say that because you want me to sit on the couch and be safe and be warm and cozy and all of that. And it's going to feel really believable because at that moment in the initial part of starting your goal, you probably won't see traction right away. And when you kind of need to work through that initial hump of what your brain is offering you, then after that kind of comes the traction. And that's when your goal actually doesn't have to be hard, when you start to get that traction. Because that kind of happened in the beginning when I started strength training. I really couldn't lift. I mean, I started at the beginning. I hadn't done strength training, I think, in maybe over 10 years, 15 years, and it wasn't real strength training at all. It was like maybe half a kilo or something like that that I would have when I was doing kind of an aerobic exercise. And it was also physically hard, and I felt like I really couldn't lift anything. And my brain offered me, what's the point? Because it's like you're not even really lifting the weight, so how are you going to develop those muscles? And I kept at it, and then finally the basic weight that I started at became easy, and then I had traction because I was like, oh, this now feels easy, too easy that now I want to add more weight. And then I added a little bit weight to make it a little challenging. And it was a little hard, but not to the point where it feels like that in the beginning, where everything is, kind of new and you can feel a bit like everything seems hard and everything seems complicated. But that kind of initial attraction, that momentum can kind of get you to the next step in your goal, and then the next step into the next step until you achieve it. And so with my current goal, I mentioned in a previous episode, I was improving my French level, and I had started being a little bit more consistent in the number of hours that I'm studying per week, and it wasn't fun. I kind of have this okay level of it where it's a little bit comfortable. I can kind of understand, get through basic things in your life, when you're on holiday and things like that. And I started pushing myself and things like that, and trying to listen to stuff and speak it and things like that. And so none of it was fun. And a lot of it also, my brain told me, like, okay, this is not happening for you, T. You're not going to get to it. But I noticed something just this week. I did get a little bit of traction, meaning I'm also reading a children's book, probably like for 10, 11-year-old book. And I actually could enjoy it rather than kind of like, okay, I don't really know what's going on. I started to read it with a little bit of fun because I love to read. And so I got a little bit like, okay, this is not so difficult anymore for me to understand and get into the story and things like that. And there was a good period of time that my brain was offering me, this is going to be hard. And it depends on what your goal is and how far out you plan on reaching it and things like that. There might be quite a while where it kind of sucks and it's not a great, fun journey and there's no traction. And what I kind of want you to consider is that, how about if it was neither? Like, we often think that getting somewhere, maybe even in our health journey, like the whole process is going to be awful, or learning languages is going to be totally not fun until until the very end, until you can speak it fluently. And what I want to say is throw that stuff out, all of it. But what if it was not going to be as bad as you think it is going to be? And what if it's going to be, and it's not just going to be so amazing, like it's not in between these two dichotomous places, like super fun and totally awful? What if it was just kind of in between, meaning, yeah, there's going to be some parts that you're going to have to get through that are maybe going to be a challenge for you, and then there's going to be some parts that are going to be, hey, this is okay. This is actually kind of a little bit fun. And so with that, I'm going to actually leave you with a quote by a weight loss coach called Corinne Crabtree. And she says, "It's not supposed to feel amazing, but it doesn't have to feel like ASS either. And I'll check back with you next week.
Thanks for listening. Listen for a new episode next Tuesday by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Bye for now.